And I believe that what I call the Sykes-Picot II, I wasn't the first to call it that, Mr. Heikel in Egypt was the first to call it that. The Sykes-Picot II is an attempt to find a new way, a different way of dividing the Arabs so that the same project can continue into the 21st century, and maybe if they're lucky, that one will last 100 years too. And to continue the zoological metaphor, the elephant in the corner of the room, which I haven't yet mentioned, is sectarianism. The division of the Arabs, not this time between fake states, but the division of the Arabs into confessional, sectarian difference, which can become so profound if acted upon that it acts as a means of turning the Muslims against each other, of fighting even each other, of vying with each other to ally themselves with the Western countries that have come up with this plan. And I've got to tell you, the melancholy truth is that it's already beginning to look like the Arabs will fall for Sykes-Picot II, just as so many of them did fall for Sykes-Picot I. And if I'm right in that fear, then the Arabs will have no better a century in the 21st than they had in the 20th century. So it's part of my mission in life is to beg the Arab street not to be fooled again. You know, George Bush famously said, though he missaid it, if you've seen Fahrenheit 9/11, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's how I feel about this, ladies and gentlemen. If they fool you for a second time, shame not on us, but on you. How are they achieving this? First of all, by completely exaggerating the importance of the differences between Sunni and Shiite Muslims, which are pre-existing, no doubt, which are ancient and historic, no doubt, which are serious at times, no doubt, theological, cultural differences, but not nearly as great as the differences between, say, the Arabs as a whole and Israel, or the Arabs as a whole and the imperial powers that are stealing the wealth of all the Arabs, whether they're Sunni or Shia. These differences which exist are being exacerbated deliberately, are being worked on by men who don't even know the difference between Sunni and Shia, would struggle even to find a dictionary definition for that difference. But what they know is if they support the Shiites here, they can achieve their goals and objectives, and if they support the Sunnis here, they can achieve their goals and objectives, and even better, they can make the Sunnis in this country feel that the Shiites in that country and vice versa are their enemies. Then, eureka, you've done it again. As long as the Muslims are fighting each other, hating each other, fearing each other, they won't notice that their wealth is being stolen from underneath their noses, that their countries are being occupied, that foreign armies are literally present in their capital cities. Jerusalem is in the hands of a foreign army. The Arabs are doing nothing about it. And they'll never do anything about it if you keep them busy on a sectarian basis. And of course, it's not just existing differences amongst the Muslims that they are working on. In Egypt, we're told, though anyone who's ever been in Cairo and sees the mosques and the churches cheek by jowl next door to each other, or who goes into a shop, says Salamu Alaikum, is answered Alaikum Salam by a Christian shopkeeper, would necessarily believe it. We're told that Egypt is fundamentally divided between Christians and Muslims. Neither should you fall for the canard that the West has a preference of one kind of Muslim over another. They couldn't give a damn. They were happy to support the Shiite government of al-Maliki in Iraq, even where that Shiite government was hated by the Sunni minority in the country. Equally, they'll support Sunni jihadists and encourage them in their quest to overthrow this or that regime on the basis that it is somehow heretic, somehow Shiite or Alawite or whatever.